podcast this week. So, yeah, a band called Weed Snake have come together with a band called El Escuadron de la Muerte, which means Death Squads. And yeah, we absolutely love both sides of this. Pete, you found this.
Yes.
I think it's, was it a band called Trawl again?
Yes, it was. And then, you know, the other band on this are called Weed Snake. And the cover is this bright, you know, thing with, you know, weed leaves and kind of ghoul faces, and you kind of think, yeah, I knew what type of music it was going to be, and I knew I was going to like it.
Yeah.
And it is, and you know, both, like you say, both bands, you know, bring their all, and kind of this band kind of just shaded it for me. You know, it's really, really good stuff. It feels more like dark alley sludge, you know, like in the mire, rather than the kind of, you know, the groove of, say, Bongzilla or Weed Eater. This is, you know, it's a bit, you know, it's more aggressive and darker than that, and yeah, within it, it's still got this kind of melancholic, almost stoner rock core sound to it, and you know, that makes it feel brooding. It's, you know, if it wasn't maybe for the accent and the language, it reminded me something of like the UK sludge scene of like 10 or 15 years ago, you know, that's like Berserkovitz or Age of the Mirai or Charger, you know, Bumstalker, all these bands. That's what it reminds me of, but with this Mexican accent.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. I mean, they're from a place called San Luis Potosi in Mexico, so yeah, the you know, the accent definitely cuts through, doesn't it? But it's, yeah, like you say, it's got a dark, grimy feedback kind of strewn sound of that time, and yeah, it's just really satisfying. I think that's a good way to put it. Like, just really kind of, you kind of want to see in a dingy pub with your mates with cans of beer, don't you? Really. So that's always a plus point from us. We're easily pleased. So yeah. So like I say, the translation for this is Death Squads. We'll put the description in the we'll put their name in the description at the end of the podcast, just so you can sort of see it. But it's El Escuadron de la Muerte, and the song is called Ake Mi Cago, which actually translates as "Oh, I shit." So sometimes we come across a band that just kind of strike us as being completely unique, and I think this next band, Empress, which you found, Pete, are like one of those really. So doesn't look like they've actually released much off this record just yet, just 2 or 3 tracks. But the one we're going to play, Sepulchre, is absolutely astounding, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, they're a band who I've reviewed before. I think their first release, and they've really progressed. It's still familiar from that, from when I reviewed them, but they've got this really full sound, and they're getting a fair bit of recognition for this now. The album comes out on the day this podcast is released, so by the time people hear it, they'll be able to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, but really good. I was making notes, to kind of for this podcast, and the one band it reminds me of more than any is kind of the Latter Day Taints, the albums that were on Rise Above Records. And funnily enough, I then checked back onto my old review just for reference, and in there, and I forgot what I'd written, and I sort of said, they reminded me of Hark, which is the band which Jim Bob from Taint then formed, and I said. And I wrote in the review, although am I just thinking this because there's a passing resemblance to Jim Bob with the singer of Empress. So I'm glad I've come to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
Because they obviously do, and it wasn't just the looks thing. There's bits of maybe the melodic Baroness, that grandeur of that, and they're approaching that level of these bands who've put out great records. That's the kind of quality they've got.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's quite interesting that their description says that the band was actually born from when 2 of them went to see Elder.
Yeah.
They were actually inspired to start a band from seeing that band live. So, that's a stamp of quality, isn't it? And if that's your inspiration in the first place, then you get an idea of where they're aiming for.
You're on the right track, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So this record looks really sort of well thought out and kind of more album-like than a lot of the things we might have played tonight. So, maybe not concept record, but very much kind of like much more than just a sort of collection of songs. I think that's what they're aiming for here. A little bit like a work of art, like we've said in previous weeks. Simple as that, really. We're going to play the song Sepulchre from the new album Premonition, and you can get this at thisisempress.bandcamp.com.